Today we're going to create a Chinese lantern icon on Figma. So I've already created my empty design. I've added my coolest color scheme and I've also added a reference picture to design from. So let's get started. I'm going to first create the body of the lantern by using an ellipse shape or circle shape from the shape tool. So click on it, click and drag to create a long oval on your frame. Click the fill and change the fill color using the color picker to a color from your color scheme here. So I'm going to choose this middle red over here. Now once done, we're going to create another circle for the inside that only has lines. So I'm going to just copy paste this original oval shape. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out. Okay, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete off the fill, so minus that. But I'm going to add a stroke which will introduce an outline to this shape. Now I'm going to change the stroke color using the color picker to one of the colors on my color scheme. So I'm going to choose a darker red here. Okay, and I'm going to change the thickness of my outline or stroke. Let's try about 5, enter. Okay, that's perfect. Alright, if you think your color is too dark, feel free to change it as well. Now, what I'm going to do with this stroke shape is that I'm going to put it aligned with my previous oval, but I'm going to go to the edges and just push it in, click and drag to push in to create a thinner oval size, like that. Okay, and very easy, we're going to copy and paste this a few times to make some inner ovals that are slightly smaller. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, copy and paste, push in on the edges. If all good, repeat, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, copy paste, push in on the edges. And you can do as many times as you want, up to you. I'm going to do one last time. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, push in on the edges. Okay, so once you're happy with your basic lantern shape, we're going to start to create the top and the bottom details. So I'm going to end off my lantern by adding a rectangle. So go to the rectangle shape tool, click and drag on top the oval. Okay, just a small rectangle like this, put on top nicely, and change the fill color using the color picker to choose the same red as your stroke. So I'm going to choose this deep red here, which is what I used earlier on. Okay, and then I'm going to copy and paste this rectangle. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out, put it near the bottom here. So that will create a top and bottom. And once done, I'm going to add my details on the lantern. So go back to my shape tool. I'm going to go to the polygon tool. This will by default create a triangle. So click and drag, draw a triangle, move it on top my rectangle. If it doesn't rest nicely, it's okay. You just need to drag the edges to fit it properly, or use your up and down arrow keys to help you move. Okay, and for this one, I'm going to make a string. So what I'm going to do is delete my fill, press minus, and add a stroke. Press plus on stroke. Okay, same thing, change my stroke color using the color picker to pick out the red that we used earlier on, the deep red, and change the thickness to 5. Enter, and there you go. Okay, so that is my string. You can rearrange it using your arrow keys. Okay, and then for the bottom detail, I'm going to use a rectangle tool again. You can also use a line tool if it's easier. Make a very thin rectangle here. Change the fill color to a deep red, which I already have. And I'm going to add some details by putting a few circles over it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just copy one of my stroke ovals that I already have. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, gently pull out. Use your arrow key, down arrow to pull out. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is drag the corner dot to make a smaller circle that looks like this. Okay. So tell you what, instead of fixing it here, I'm going to pull it out first. Now I'm going to copy and paste this to make 3 more. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out. And I'm going to arrange them just slightly overlapping each other like this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out. Okay, and one last time. Control C, Control C, Control V, pull out. Okay, you can create any pattern you want. You can have them all also overlapping each other like this. Okay, so anything that you like. Once done, select all, click and drag them over to join the string at the bottom here. Okay, so that will add some detail to your lantern. Once done, you can continue to add more details. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste this rectangle shape here. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, pull out. Okay, and then add more details. Another rectangle shape. Oops. Click and drag to resize. Put this at the bottom, change the fill color using the deep red color picker. And finally top it off with an ellipse to round off the top. Okay, change the fill color using the color picker. Deep. Okay, and that is our completed lantern with detail. So once done, remember to drag over all your shapes. Ctrl G group, and you will be able to resize and move the lantern as a whole group, and then put and focus on other icons for your card as well.